will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama, we love Alabama. I only won it by about 47 points. I don't think that influenced my decision though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it. Huntsville in particular, so congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, and that's billions because it can't be millions, it's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job, and Secretary of the Air Force Troy Mink. Troy, thank you very much. Great job you're doing, Troy. This is such a big deal. This is one that everybody wanted to know. What are you doing? I also want to thank Senators Katie Britt, and I want to give my condolences. Your grandmother, her grandmother just passed away. She was 100, right?
100, and she loves you, Mr. President.
Well, and she was very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very proud of you. So thank you, Katie.
Wonderful woman.
She must have been. To produce you indirectly, I can tell you she had to be. Tommy Tuberville, who's a great coach, and I won't say anything about what happened with Alabama football this weekend.
Let's leave that up.
But you're not used to that, right? You're not used to that. But Tommy, Auburn won, is right. They did. So you're happy. Tommy's been a great senator, as you know, and a fantastic guy all around. He was also a tremendous coach. House Armed Services Committee Chair Mike Rogers. Thank you, Mike. Where's Mike? Mike, thank you very much. You're doing great, Mike. Representatives Barry Moore, all great friends, Robert Adderholt, Gary Palmer, and Dale Strong. Thank you all very much, fellas. Appreciate it. In my first term, I created a thing called Space Force. So important. You know, we were losing the race in space very badly to China and to Russia. And now we're far and away #1 in space, and reestablished Space Com with a mission to protect American space assets and detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Spacecom headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration. And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also. In Huntsville, Spacecom will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The finest, the best. And by the way, Canada called. They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else, there's nobody close, remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville. Pete, say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time, for the right reason. In your first administration, you established the Space Force at a time when we knew we had to be looking to that domain of space. You also reestablished Spacecom to ensure that priority was put in place. And you, through the Air Force, independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons, in the next administration under Biden, they decided to move it somewhere else. Well, during that time, the DoD Inspector General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments. And where did they say Spacecom should go? Huntsville, Alabama. So what you're doing today, Mr. President, is restoring it to precisely where it should be based on what the Space Force, the Air Force, your leadership believes will give us strategic advantage in the future. That is Huntsville, Alabama. We are way ahead in space, but this will ensure we stay leaps and bounds ahead because that's the most important domain. Whoever controls the skies will control the future of warfare. And Mr. President, today you're ensuring that happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Katie, would you like to say something?
Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership on this and restoring Space Command to its rightful home in Huntsville, Alabama. This delegation has worked together, both chambers, both parties, to make sure that Huntsville was the place that Space Command called home. As was mentioned, obviously the Biden administration chose to make this political. What we want to do is put the safety and security of Americans first. We want to make sure that our warfighter is put first, and we want to make sure that America continues to lead. And today, Mr. President, you've allowed that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tommy, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. This is a great day for our country, not just for our state of Alabama. We need help in our military. We need to catch up. And as Secretary has said, we're not behind in space, but we know where we're at, and we need to expound on that. Now, this move will save the taxpayers $480 million. It's not going to cost more. It's going to cut $480 million. We have the plans intact. It'll be behind a secure wall in Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command. I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the president for the last 3 or 4 years about this. If I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that. But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this, and we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
JD, would you like to say something?
Sure. Well, Mr. President, thank you. I'll be very brief here. I lobbied the president hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these Alabamas, are just too powerful and too persuasive. And so it's in Alabama, but as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for Space Force and Space Command. I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. So it was a visionary move in the first administration for the president to set up Space Force, and I think an equally visionary move to make sure that Space Force is right where it should be in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, anybody want to say anything? Would you like to say?
Mr. President, another promise made, another promise kept. You think about it, Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. The president said when you were the 45th president, let's do what's right for national security. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. It's not because of this or that. It's because it's right for national security. You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. All indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama, and Redstone Arsenal. We have the right people at the right place at the right time. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of the 5th Congressional District and all of Alabama, thank you for keeping your word. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Anybody?
Let me just say, Mr. President, I want to say thank you. And thank you for doing this because it was the right thing to do. When they looked at all the numbers, Huntsville was the place to go. And like you say, it was unfortunately pulled out, but you made it right. So I want to just say thank you again for a grateful nation, and to the state of Alabama, we're very grateful. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much.
Please.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Throughout history, militaries has always understood that whoever could hold the high ground held the advantage. Space is the ultimate high ground. And what we're doing with moving the Space Command to Huntsville is absolutely critical to our maintaining dominance in that sphere. And it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do with the Golden Dome and missile defense to defend against anyone else who tries to enter that sphere. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. And obviously, national defense is a huge issue. And when you look at the scores, Alabama was #1. And for political reasons, it was moved out of our state. But, Mr. President, thank you for making priorities of defense and the warfighter and the safety of this nation. And in the big, beautiful bill, that Golden Dome will be built in Huntsville, Alabama, and we're grateful for that. Thank you.
Listen, as chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I care very much about what's most important for our national security. And the president held a nationwide competition to determine where we should have this command. If y'all remember, at the end of that competition, where Alabama came in first, there was a lot of complaints from the other states who did not place well. He said, we'll do it over with new criteria to accommodate your concerns. Alabama came in first in that second competition. His Secretary of the Air Force reviewed the results, said it was fair, and the president named Huntsville. It was the Biden administration that decided to make it political, even though his own Secretary of the Air Force said it was a fair competition and it should be in Huntsville. So I want you to know I appreciate this president standing up and being strong and saying he's going to make this right and put it where it rightfully belongs. That's Huntsville, Alabama.
Thank you very much. Good job. So thank you all very much. You are going to leave me alone now. You're not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago. And our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Cumberland talked about the cost savings
Yeah.
associated with this announcement. Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville?
Well, it just works because we have so much else there. And having a central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rock go, you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had 4 different groups of experts. They all said this was the best location. I also loved it from the standpoint, I know the people of Alabama, they are great people, work hard, and there's no games, and they're very proud of it. And I would say they fought harder for it than anybody else also. A lot of states, 5 states really wanted it, but they wanted it more. And I kid you not when I say that these people, they spoke to me a lot. That's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about the weather. They only wanted to talk about moving to this location, moving to Alabama, Huntsville in particular. So we're honored to do it. They really wanted it badly, and they got it. Peter?
President Trump, something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really?
You didn't see that?
I'm trying to see
You know, I have heard
sick, but I ain't heard nothing
crazy,
about
but
him
last
being,
week I did
deceased.
numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him. And we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff. Well, it's fake news. You know, it's just it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day. I had heard that, but I didn't hear it to that extent. Go ahead, Peter.
We know that this country has a huge problem with school shootings. You've said that you're open to sending the National Guard pretty much anywhere. Would you ever consider sending an armed National Guardsman to every school?
Well, we have a big problem with school shooting, but we also have thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. You know, they talk about you can do things construction-wise, and that's really, I think nobody knows more about construction than me. You can build the construction doors. You can build what they call safety doors, where they lock on the outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if one of these lunatics happens to get through, then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for keys all over the place, and it takes a lot of disadvantages to doing, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics that we're dealing with. But I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry. That's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. I'd have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know, and But I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just we've had. A lot of instances, other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have. There's something going on, and it's a bad thing. Yes, please.
Have you spoken with President Putin in the past week? Have you spoken with President Putin?
Yeah, I don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Consequences if there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky? And what could those consequences be?
We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week, they lost 7,000, between the two countries, 7,313 soldiers, to be somewhat exact, for no reason whatsoever. And they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, but, they're soldiers. I want to see it end. Yeah.
Have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
Please do.
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very interesting because I watched Pritzker get up and say about, we don't need help, we're safe. But 2 weeks ago, they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, it was 7 people, 24 people hit. And 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days, that was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the 2 worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection, we don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this.
Had a whole
Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now.
Ooh, yeah.
Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with, they should have had the water coming down, like I said. You know, we had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to LA. It's so badly run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the Olympics is not coming to Los Angeles. If we didn't do that, and even the sheriff, the top law enforcement person in Los Angeles said, we could not have handled it without them. So that's what he said.
Make your mind up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks, and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago, it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad, really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. You know, to have our nation's capital lose every week, you know, it was like years, many years where every single week somebody was killed for many, many, many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had, last week it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem. And we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful. And the police commission has been very helpful. And it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem. And we'd love you to send in the troops. Because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw today on one of your networks, not a friendly network, really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, who were black.
I heard from.
And they were saying, please, please, please let the president send it. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But, you know, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong physically fit, something, having a certain ability, not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police, as you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. We took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place. And you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right?
Got a gun.
But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a great thing. Yes, ma'am, please.
Calling on Democratic leaders across the country to work with you on crime. Do you see your efforts here in D.C., including, for example, working with Mayor Bowser here as a model for bringing more bipartisanship in matters not only with crime, but also issues that matter to everyday American people's lives?
So Mayor Bowser's been great. She could have taken the thing, and then after I clean it up, they'll take credit for it. You know what they do is they take credit. Like, we cleaned up Los Angeles. We did a great job there. And it was overwhelming what was going on. And again, the police chief made a statement that we could not have done, there's no way they could handle it. You saw what was happening out there. It was going to be a disaster. We stopped it cold. If we didn't do that, would have been a very sad day. And remember, we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, we have all these things coming, and we have 250, all of these things coming. But I watched Newsom get up and say he's doing a great. We're the ones that did it, and that's okay, whatever it takes. But the main thing is But he got up and said we did it. Well, he didn't want us there, and he's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. I see it. It's starting to form again. We have to maintain. It's like maintenance on an airplane. You can buy it, but you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, a good plane becomes very unsafe very quickly. So it's an honor to do it. It's a lot of presidents wouldn't do what I'm doing. I don't need this heat. But when I watched television last night and I'm watching the news and I see that 9 people were killed in Chicago and 54 were badly wounded with bullets, I say, that's not this country. We have to do something. And I do say this, I say this very much. I'm not speaking to anybody but them right now. I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a lot of people. We have a great force. We have a great military force. Pete will tell you that when I was running for office, and this was a big headline, I think, probably got me a couple of votes, but you couldn't sign people in the military. Nobody wanted to join the military, the Army, Air Force, the Navy, Marines, Space Force, Coast Guard. We never forget Coast Guard because they've done such a great job. Never. But nobody wanted to join any of them. We were way below what we wanted. Every single one. The closest was the Marines, whatever that is. You'll explain that to me. But the closest was the Marines. But every service was way down, way down. And then I got elected, and our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. Everybody's talking about the USA. They're talking about the job that we're doing. Everybody. We have the best economy. We have a very, very important decision being made by the Supreme Court because our country is the richest, the strongest, the most powerful. But if for some reason, some liberal court, I'm talking about the court that just ruled, where even an Obama judge voted in favor of us, which I gave him a compliment yesterday, as you know. I said that took great courage. But it's a liberal court, and it's going up to the Supreme Court, who I think have been incredible people. I think they've made very wise decisions. But the tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is in serious, serious trouble. We've taken in almost $17 trillion of investment is coming in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs. And if for some reason somebody wanted to be politically correct, I actually think it's unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it, because there's nothing so popular as what's happened to our country. Our country is doing so well. But we had a liberal court gave us a very shocking ruling, and that ruling is basically saying that the trillions of dollars that are pouring into our country, putting us in a position like no country is anywhere in the world, that they'd like to see us that taken away. By the way, a lot of the people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign countries. I might add.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated.
So
Actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
So that's a fake video.
Well, it's got to be, because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that, because there's cameras all over the place, right? Including yours. No, but every window, I've never seen a window that's, in fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof. And number one, they're sealed. And number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be, where was the window? Let me see.
We have it.
Maybe from the renovations.
Which is the window?
It looks like this is on the 15th Street side, I think. So right here.
Sir, I'm gonna need you. We got time for I think
those windows are
windows.
sealed.
We need to
Those
know.
windows are they're all sealed. You can't open them.
Business.
What you were saying regarding the federal.
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, you know, it works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it, because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up, from the time I was a baby till now. I said, who did that? It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But those windows are all very heavily sealed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I follow up with what you were saying regarding that federal appellate court that ruled against you and your administration as it relates to your ability.
Well, they ruled against our country, the court, and they ruled against us before. It's a very liberal court.
You called it highly partisan in your.
Well, it
social
certainly
media
is. It certainly
and in
is.
fact, it was along ideological lines, 7-4.
Well, except that we actually got one of the Obama judges that was appointed by President Obama, voted in favor of the tariffs, because he felt it was imperative for our country to thrive and survive even. And I gave him credit. I said, you know what? That took a lot of courage for him to do it, because you don't see that often.
So my question is, I suspect you're going to appeal that all the way to the Supreme Court.
Well, we already have, yeah. In fact, we're doing something else. We're going to be going to the Supreme Court, we think, tomorrow, because we need an early decision. I mean, look, the financial fabric of our country, we're a rich, incredible country right now, and we're able to, you know, other countries use tariffs on us for years, and we never did. I did a lot during my first term, but then we had COVID and we had to focus on other things. You couldn't be tariffing Italy, Spain, France, as they were dying by the thousands and millions. But we did with China, and China paid us billions and billions of dollars. And I started the process, but then I had to end it a little bit because of COVID. We focused on that. But no, it's a very important decision. And frankly, if they make the wrong decision, it would be a devastation for our country. We've taken in trillions of dollars. And by the way, all these countries signed agreements, as an example. They're all happy. Everybody's happy. But some whack job put in a lawsuit it went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled, it was 11, they ruled 7-4, with one of the most liberal of them all voting in our favor because they're patriots. I think I give tremendous credit to that judge. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now we're going to be asking for early admittance. We're going tomorrow, and we're going to ask for an expedited ruling because, when you look at the stock market's down today, the stock market's down because of that, because the stock market needs the tariffs. They want the tariffs. If you look at AI, all of those, all of that money that's going to be invested, trillions and trillions of dollars, the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, I suspect. It's the internet plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading very substantially with AI. We're leading because of tariffs. We're leading because of talent, and this is where they'd like to be. But without the tariffs, we wouldn't have a chance because we wouldn't be able to protect those investments of the companies coming in. So if you took away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. So we're asking for an expedited ruling.
As a backstop to that, President, you have a Republican-controlled Congress. You control the House. You control the Senate.
Yeah, but we don't have 60 votes. We don't have 60 votes.
You don't
I'd love to
think you
do
get
that.
enough
Oh,
votes?
if we had 60 senators, if we got the 60 votes, we would get them. But we need 60 votes, and we need a certain number in the House. I think we'd get, I don't know, we have about 5 of them here. Would everybody agree with me on tariffs? Without tariffs, we're a different country. We have taken in so much money. And here's the thing. We signed a deal with Japan. They're paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal with South Korea. We signed a deal with the European Union. We signed a deal with Europe. And those countries are paying us $950 billion. And they're happy about it. They're okay. As one of them said, it's amazing that we got away with it so long. One of my friends, a leader of one of the countries, and they're fine with it. They all signed. If that ruling ever went against us, I guess we'd have to give back hundreds of billions. We would have to give trillions and trillions of dollars back to countries that have been ripping us off for the last 35 years. And I can't imagine it happening. On a legal basis, they have no legal basis whatsoever. But on a common sense basis, it would destroy America. Okay.
You talked about controlling the sky. On Sunday, the satellite signal of Ursula von der Leyen's plane was
With Ursula? Well, she had an interesting event. She's a tremendous woman. And so what are you asking me about her?
NATO is concerned about an attitude about this.
Sure, NATO is concerned about it. Well, nobody knows where it came from, but they did take away her ability to use a phone. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy.
Considering reducing the tariffs on India from 50%.
What does that mean?
Are you considering taking away some of the tariffs that you've imposed on India?
No, we get along with India very well. But India has, you have to understand, for many years, it was a one-sided relationship. Only now, since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one. And we therefore weren't doing much business with India, but they were doing business with us because we weren't charging them. Foolishly, we weren't charging them. So they would send in massive, everything they made, they'd send it in, pour it into our country. Therefore, it wouldn't be made here, which is a negative. But we would not send in anything because they were charging us 100% tariffs. And, I'll give you an example. Harley Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. So what happens? Harley Davidson went to India and built a motorcycle plant. And now they don't have to pay tariffs. Same thing as us. So what we're doing is literally thousands of companies are coming into the U.S., car companies, AI, but, more traditionally, car companies. We have so many car company factories under construction or being designed right now. And they're coming from China, they're coming from Mexico, I must tell you, and they're coming from Canada, a lot of them coming from Canada. But they're coming into our country because they want to build here. And they want to build here for 2 reasons. Number one, they'd like to be here. And number 2, the tariffs are protecting them. And number 3, they want to avoid paying tariffs. When they build their cars here, they don't have any tariffs to pay. You know, when you build here, you don't have any tariffs.
Mr. President,
Go ahead,
in light of the Minnesota shooting last week, the Department of Homeland Security is now awarding more than $100 million to hundreds of faith organizations across the country to help them ramp up security. What's your vision for further protecting religious liberty across the country amid incidents of threats? And
So religious liberty is so important, and we're talking about every religion now, and we're doing things on that nobody else has ever done, and we're going to be having a big announcement in about 2 weeks on that question. Yeah, please.
On Space Command, sir, are you concerned that people may not be willing to relocate from Colorado to Alabama?
No, I'm not worried. It will get somebody else.
Colorado.
I mean, the problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system. Look, I have so many friends in Colorado. Anytime you have mail-in voting, you have corrupt elections. Very simple. It's very simple. Even Jimmy Carter said it with his commission. They set up a commission with him and Scoop Jackson and some people, highly regarded people. And they said the finding was, if you have mail-in voting, you will have corrupt elections. Well, your radical left governor decided that he was going to have all mail-in voting in Colorado. Once you have all mail-in voting, and for whatever reason, the Democrats cheat. And they cheat like, they're not stupid. That's the only thing. They're no good on policy. They're no good on management. They're no good at government. But they're great at cheating. And they stick together, too. I give them credit for sticking together. Please.
Obviously, this is a big win for national security, moving this to Alabama. We've all can agree with that.
Big.
Is there any idea of the economic impact this has on the state and on that local area?
Katie, do you want to answer that?
Look, I mean, this.
Please go.
This is going to be tremendous. I mean, the state of Alabama, what we've seen through this process is the worst of Washington. We've seen politics get in the way of what is best for the warfighter, what's best for national security. And the state of Alabama is about to show the country the best among us. So we know the economic impact is going to be tremendous. There at Redstone Arsenal, we're proud to house everything from the FBI to headquarters there for material command to a number of things. We obviously have NASA with Marshall Space Flight Center. And so this naturally fits within. When you look at the decision matrix that they placed in front of us, that's why we ranked so high, is because we have the resources necessary and the ability to build out quickly to meet the needs in front of us. As far as economic impact, it would be tremendous. Does anybody have an exact number? 1,600 jobs. With 3,000 spinoff. Look at this. This is teamwork right here. So we are really proud, and the people of Alabama are ready to get to work.
And I've got a housing question, if you could, just for a second, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
please.
Owning a home and going about the American dream seems like it's out of touch for a lot of Americans.
Yeah.
Just recently, you pushed out a statement about addressing an emergency housing situation.
That's right. We're thinking about doing that.
Yeah, can you just?
Well, we need a little help from the Fed. We have a man named Jerome Too Late Powell. You probably heard of him. He's too late, way too late. And the economy is so strong that it's pushing through that. Normally, it would have been much tougher, but we're doing so well that we're pushing through it. But it makes it very hard for people to get mortgages because too late is too late. Very simple. He's too late. And probably political, whatever. He wasn't too late before the election. Before the election, he was cutting rates, right? Because he was hoping that, I guess, Biden would get in, or that Kamala would. He was a big Biden guy. Explain that one. And then he was a Kamala person, but he was hoping, I guess, she'd win, I guess. I don't know. It didn't work out too well. But yeah, we need a very serious cut. You know, I think that if you look back many decades ago, the United States was always the lowest, even if they were doing badly. The United States was, because without the United States, everything in the world would die. It's true. It's so powerful. It's so big. And I made it really big in the first 4 years. Then it started to degenerate with what this Biden administration did. But we built it up to a level that I never thought we could be at this quickly. We're the hottest, we're the best financially. The money coming in is so big because of tariffs and other things, but because of tariffs. Tariff gets us even those other things. Plus, it gets us great negotiating. I settled 7 wars, and numerous of those wars were because of trade. And numerous of the trade deals that I made were because of tariffs. It gives you a great negotiating ability. If that ability were taken away from us by a liberal court acting on essentially foreign nations asking to get help from the United States government, when they've been doing this to us for 40 years, that's why we have $38 trillion in debt. We won't have it for long if they let us if they allow us to do what everybody knows we should be able to do. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, another Biden era action that you're now reversing is that you signed a deal last week to make federal buildings adopt and embrace classical architecture styles again. Can you talk to us about why you do that, and also what's your vision?
Well, we want to see beautiful buildings. Now, it's in the eye of the beholder. I've seen architectural reviews over the years. I'm an expert at it. I've gotten a lot of great reviews. But I've seen buildings that I didn't think were very good get great reviews, and I've seen great buildings get bad reviews. So, but it's just a standard. We want to have a good standard. We're building something here, for 150 years they wanted a ballroom at the White House. We're doing something at the highest level using great architects and all. And, it's very exciting. But we have a lot of interesting things happening architecturally in D.C. And D.C. is like a different place. And, even the contractor said, "Sir, we walked down today, we feel like much safer." It's like a different place. Washington, D.C. is great. Now, we're going to also beautify it. We're going to put a topping on the roads. We're not going to rip them apart and take 4 years to build a road that was exactly the same by the time you build it. But we're going to put toppings. We're going to put new medians in. We're going to get the graffiti off. We're going to put tiles up in the tunnels where the tiles are missing. We'll do the whole tunnel instead of, a little area where you see new tiles, old tiles that never look too good, but they could use it. They've been up 50 years. They've served their duty. But we're going to make this within about a 20-mile radius from the White House. We're going to have this place spick and span. It's going to be crime-free, and it's going to be spick and span. You'll be proud of Washington again. Go ahead, please.
Sir, China's having a massive military parade that President Putin and Kim Jong-un will be attending. Do you interpret that as a challenge to this? And are you concerned at all about those countries?
No.
Trying to be some sort of counterweight?
Not at all. China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know. But China needs us much more than we need them. No, I don't see that at all, no.
Maybe one more.
And I had actually a very good meeting with President Putin a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if anything comes out of it. If it doesn't, we'll take a different stance.
One March today in California ruled that the deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles was illegal. Do you have any response?
Well, it was a radical left judge.
Yeah,
but
I read it.
very importantly, what did you not tell me in that question or statement that you made? Pretty much of a statement, I think.
Well, I was asking for your response.
No, you didn't say what the judge said, though. The judge said, but you can leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can continue to be in place. That's all we need. But why didn't you put that as part of your statement? Because the same judge ruled exactly as you said, except the judge said that you could leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can stay, they can remain, they can do what they have to do. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let's head out. Let's go, guys. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys. Let's go.
Y'all keep right on till y'all get on that man nerves, and then he's like, it's time to go. It's time to go. Because folks just, just keep going on and on and on and on and on and on and on with the foolishness and the effery. All right, y'all. So, he came on a whole hour late. To essentially tell us that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will be moving to Huntsville, Alabama. Which, according to him, was something that he had planned to do during his first term as president, but C-19 derailed that, and the Biden administration was aware of these plans and decided to put it somewhere else. So, of course, you can always count on Joe and his cronies to do some nonsense to have us, hemmed up. But, Trump was like, look, we're going to go ahead and bring it back and go with our original plan. Me too, Eric. Listen, I'm going to say this right here. It really ain't much going on in Huntsville. I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell the truth. Most black people, which I know we are a black-centric channel over here, don't know much about Huntsville unless one, they actually, have family down around that way, or two, they have actually, been watching on where it's what is that? What's the TV show about the black people in Huntsville? Love and Marriage Huntsville. That's what it is. Yeah, child, ain't nothing going on. I mean, it is what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. The biggest thing that I wanted to see was if he was going to discuss sending the troops to Chicago. He said, for those of y'all who weren't here at that particular time, they going. He just hasn't said when. He would prefer that Mayor Johnson and goofball Pritzker stay off the camera, talking all about what they don't like and what they don't appreciate, this, that, and the fourth, and call him directly. That's what he said. Call him directly. But see, they don't want to do that. They don't want to call him directly. They want to get on and talk crazy. And yes, in the middle of nowhere, Eric. And I was actually, fumbling through, doing a little research, in shock with, a lot of other people with, what's been going on in Chicago over the last 3 or 4 days. And I actually saw a clip where, they took like a training facility or something where they, getting themselves together. But yeah, he said he finna send it for real boys up in there. And goofball, I'm gonna run the debt up to $1 billion ass Johnson sitting up on the TV talking about the problem, and only thing they need to get the crime under control is affordable housing. Because we all know that the criminals are committing all the crime from the living room of the home that they can't afford. That's where the crime is taking place, y'all. The crime is taking place in the living room of the people who can't afford their rent. You know what I'm saying? They're just pulling up, some of them fold up church chairs, and they're just popping off from the living room because they can't afford their rent. Like, dude, can you get for real and catch a clue? He's sitting up, and they had a whole press conference. Matter of fact, we're going to go through the press conference because y'all, this is what I'm going to do. Moderators, y'all listening, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a deep dive show about the situation in Chicago, and this is how we're going to run it. In the beginning, we're going to have all moderators on the panel. Now, for those of y'all who are not moderators and be, watch the channel, we be like, oh Lord, here we got 10 people all gonna say the same thing. That's not true. That's why I love my moderators, because we do not all share the same, opinion about Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the current administration, past administration, what needs to be going on. Everybody has their own, everybody has their own thoughts. So what we're gonna do is, first part of this, show is we're gonna have the moderators on. Reason for this is because I want everybody to be involved in the conversation. I'm gonna get the moderators out the way, and then we're gonna have the non-moderators. So when the non-moderators get on and newbies and all of that, my minds can be focused on what's going on in the chat. Because I've been on both sides. It's a little challenging to be on the panel and try to moderate at the same time. Now, some that's good like me can do that, some can't. So we're going to make it where everybody get an opportunity. Moderators coming up first, and then we're going to have everybody else. So we're going to do a deep dive into, this situation that's going on in Chicago. And for those of y'all up in Baltimore, You know what I'm saying? That's up there supporting no loudmouth ass Westmore. Look like y'all about to get some company too. Since y'all can't, y'all and Doogie, y'all can't get that together up there. And I got to worry about, you know what I'm saying, gunshots and that kind of stuff when my sister riding through. And she literally has holes in her car because you raggedy fuckers, you know what I'm saying, is dropping bricks off the damn bridge and killing people and all that kind of nonsense. Yeah, Trump said he got something for y'all. So we gonna keep an eye on that too, see how long it's gonna take for him to get the boys, because that's down the road. They ain't far from DC anyway. But yeah, we're gonna do a deep dive into all of this crime that y'all say is not going on, and we keep looking at day after day after day after day after day. And we gonna see whether or not this additional support from the president is warranted. And if it's not, why does he feel like it is? We're gonna see if it's racially motivated, is it economically motivated? We're gonna take a look at the whole shebang. So that should be tomorrow. The goal is tomorrow. Thursday at the absolute latest. But yeah, we're gonna do a deep dive. We're doing a deep dive because it's too much going on. It's too much going on, and everybody's complaining all about what they don't like and then worrying about the optics instead of what's really going on. And we don't have time for all of that. We don't have time. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, child, Brandon a whole fool. Ain't nobody in the mood. Ain't nobody in the mood for what Brandon talk about. Setting up and how he don't appreciate and they don't. Child, him and Priska had a whole press conference, but we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that. About how it wasn't right and it wasn't fair and they ain't appreciate it. Chicago ain't that bad and just never. Dude, you ran up legitimately $1 billion worth of debt. And you talking about affordable housing. You got $1 billion worth of debt. Ain't nothing gonna be affordable. Cause you and your goofy tail, you know what I'm saying, ran on the, you know what I'm saying, you was gonna get things in order and you was bringing down the taxes and all of this and all of that. And then as soon as you, saying, gave all the money to the asylum seekers, the illegals or whatever it is you want to damn call them, and the tab done run up to $1 billion and you can't pay it, first thing you want to do is raise up the taxes on the people. But we got campaign video of you talking about you weren't gonna run up, you weren't gonna increase the taxes. So all these increased taxes gonna take care of your $30,000 barbershop bill? Because we haven't forgotten. Not over here. We haven't forgotten 30 stacks, but for some haircuts and you still ain't fine. I'm just saying, if you spend $30,000 on haircuts and trips to the barbershop, you need to be fine as hell. We need everyone looking at you need to be salivating. And sir, that ain't happening. So you need to get a refund. The people of Illinois deserve a refund. The people of Illinois need a refund, sir, because that ain't it. And then Priska, you need to stop talking too, because I saw another article that I shared on my community tab. If y'all want to take a look at it, them children in Illinois can't read, sir. It was 30. It was 30 schools surveyed, just at random. And they used, I think, like the end of the year testing is like their, you know what I'm saying, measuring stick. They surveyed 30 schools. Not one single child in any of those 30 schools could read at, let alone above, grade level. Not one. Not one. We're not talking about in a class. We're talking about the whole school. They grabbed 30 of them, and they're from all over everywhere, all different, you know what I'm saying, different, you know what I'm saying, parts of the state, socioeconomic backgrounds, races, all of that. Not one of them. So Priska, we don't need you to be talking about nothing. Yeah, Eric, it's sad. It's on a community tab. It's sad. Not one. So we talking poor black kids, poor white kids, poor Hispanic kids, poor Asian kids, middle class folk, rich ones. Like, can't nobody read. That's the thing, Eric. It was all levels. It was high school, middle school, you know what I'm saying, elementary, none of them. All of them was jacked. All of them was jacked. Nobody can read. Being able to read ain't got shit to do with your race. Nothing. Absolutely has absolutely nothing to do with your race. Nothing. That's something your parents should teach you. You should not go to school. Actually, I saw something about that too. We're gonna talk about it. Because yeah, this disbanded Department of Education, he need to hurry the hell up. Because they can't do no better than this. We don't need it. Go ahead and let that go. With this lady, she's a teacher and she teaches kindergarten, and she was talking about the first day of school. And she was talking about how these kids couldn't tell you their name, couldn't tell you how old they were, couldn't tell you their parents, she said one boy couldn't he didn't know how to unzip his lunchbox. They don't know how to stand in line without fidgeting. The damn show can't read, can't write, nothing. This is what I'm talking about, H-Mob. We're gonna get into it because I saw that and I was like, are you for real? And then about an hour after that, my sister sent me a video where this father was talking to it comes on with these teachers talking about what they go through and you know what I'm saying, the current school year is gonna bring and how they dread it and this, that, and the fourth. And then it cuts to you hear this you see these two boys. And they're standing in front of a whiteboard, and you hear an adult male who we then comes to find out is one of the young man's father and the uncle to the other one, and he's asking them how to spell different words. Y'all, when I tell you the nephew he was a senior in high school, not one word he put on that damn whiteboard was correct. Not one. Then the son, I think he was a freshman in high school. He was either getting ready to go to high school or he was a freshman. He was trying to help the cousin out and made it 50 times worse. Listen, y'all, no, for real, we're getting into that. We're going to get into that. Yeah, so we got two conversations. We got to have one about getting rid of the Department of Education, why that is not a problem. That is a fantastic idea. And two, about this crime. Y'all, when I tell you, I had to stop that video because I ain't never seen nothing that sad. And when I tell you, it's one of them, I can't even tell you about it. You have to see it because me telling you about it, you're going to think I'm making it up. You have to see it for yourself. That's the first one my sister put up. She said, you have to see this to know I'm not lying. And I hit play, it was all over. It was over. I was like, are you serious? These can't be the kids that Whitney said was our future, y'all. When I tell you that man, he sounded like he was about to cry. Them kids, listen. I ain't never. I mean, and like, for those of us who actually pay attention in school, first, once you got past it, them telling you to look something up, then when you actually got ready to look it up and you had to phonetically, you know what I'm saying, sound it out to try to figure out how to spell what the hell it was you was looking for, y'all, the phonetics these two was trying to use, yo, listen, I ain't never in my life, like, you talking about graduating, child, and the uncle was like, I don't know whether he was like, no, we need to send you all the way back to what did he say, to junior high school. He's like, because when you graduate, I don't know where the hell you going to school. He was like, I don't know how this gonna work. And he told his son he was gonna push him back. He's like, yeah, no, you ain't going nowhere. Like, y'all, it was a hot mess. Eric, it's everywhere. Baltimore, Chicago. Hell, it's happening here in North Carolina. I have friends who are teachers. We got a whole different situation down here in North Carolina. Not only are these kids coming to school, you know what I'm saying, hungry and ignorant, they're coming dirty. So I have a friend, one of her besties is She's in her second year being a vice principal, but prior to that, she was a teacher. And so, since the pandemic, in addition to, regular school supplies, paper, pens, pencils, all that kind of stuff, we've been donating, maxi pads, underwear, baby wipes, deodorant. So, because these kids are literally coming to school dirty as hell, on their menstrual cycle, excrement on them. Like, ain't nothing going on. Like, it is a crying shame. Hair not combed, hungry. Like, it don't make no sense. And then all you see is these folks hollering about, paying for some damn school supplies. Like, are y'all for real? I don't even have kids in school. And I'm out here trying to invest in the youth. Because, hell, for those of y'all who, if you know, deodorant not cheap. Everybody don't get their deodorant from the Dollar Tree. Some of us being Target. Some of us like Lumi. Some of us like, Native. For those of y'all know about Native, you know about Native. Some of us like Dr. Bronner's. Ain't none of that cheap. Dove don't solve everything, but we gonna get to another. It's time for a follow up to the wash your ass. We got work to do. We got work to do over here on I-78. We got work to do. We are in the fourth quarter of 2025. We got work to do. Quit worrying about college. Quit worrying about six figures. Because if you was really paying some attention before you got to college, you would know that 6 figures on your offer sheet and 6 figures hitting your bank account is two totally different matters. Quit worrying about all of that. Win and get off the prostitution tip. Stop begging. Because if you understood some economics, half these men ain't got nothing to give you. This one talking about 50. That Lumi 15 strong, Eric. Lumi 15 strong. I don't care which one whether you get the cream, the stick, the spray, they all the same price. It's just a matter which one fit your fancy. Yeah, and Native right behind it. I think Native is what I bought some. It was one of the ones that just came out. It was 13. Yeah, y'all quit playing. Dr. Bronner's just dropped a new scent today. I'm kind of mad though, because I don't understand this $12 in shipping for $16 worth of product. I ain't really understand that. That kind of pissed me off. But anyway, yeah, like this stuff is not cheap. Now, granted, for those of y'all who use Dr. Bronner's and all of that, if you work, you ain't even gotta work it right. Dr. Bronner's with a 16-ounce bottle of Dr. Bronner's will last you 2 years. I promise you. It'll last you 2 years. I got so much Dr. Bronner's in here during the pandemic, it was dirt cheap. So, like, my sister would visit or whatnot, she would, she was finding gallons for like $10, $12. So, of course, because we know, she was buying it up. Not one gallon has she brought me have I opened yet. And I haven't opened it because I haven't used what I had to, need to crack open the gallons to refill the bottles. And child, we use Dr. B for everything. Dr. B is body wash, shampoo, got the recipe, turn it into hand soap. Mop the floor with it, wash your walls. Like Dr. B get you through. You need to bottle of Dr. B, that's all you need. So I'm just saying. You need to use the right equipment to get what you need. Yeah. Dove is not gonna hold you in the summertime. You're gonna need a little bit more than that. You're gonna need a little bit more. But yeah, that's what we're doing down here in North Carolina. We donate notebooks, pens, pencils, underwear, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, baby wipes, washcloths, like the whole damn nine. This is what I'm saying, Eric. This is what I'm talking about. And it's just sad. You know what I'm saying? That these chicks with send these children to school. First of all, you already got them at one disadvantage because you ain't teaching them nothing, you know what I'm saying, at home. Then you going to send them hungry. Then you going to send them dirty. So they showing up automatically, you know what I'm saying, with attitude and insecurities. Because, I mean, they know they dirty. They know they stinking. But, I mean, you know, they're not going to, you know what I'm saying, they're not going to ask for no help. It's sad. What's going on, mixed chick? How you doing? You okay? Can't read, can't articulate, you know what I'm saying, what it is they need. You got to sit here and try to guess and all this kind of child. Y'all better quit playing. Quit playing. It's hard out here. And again, you got a lot of people who don't care. Because again, I don't have any kids in the school system. So I'm saying it's really, you know what I'm saying, if we gonna, you know what I'm saying, follow nigga logic, this ain't my fight. I ain't got to be worried about this, but because, you know what I'm saying, I'm a productive member of society and I care about the community, I invest. At least I try to invest in these chaps. But yeah, we're not buying no phones and iPads and all that kind of nonsense. I don't like y'all like that. But yeah, this. So yeah, go ahead and get rid of the Department of Education. But yeah, we're gonna get to y'all. That video was a fool. It was a whole fool. I mean, he was like spell, and I mean this is stuff that it wasn't even words that would trip you up like in the spelling bee. They was just like everyday words. And child, they was over there like, and child is the oldest one. He threw some nonsense up on the board, and the daddy was like, "What?" And child, the little cousin was trying to clean it up. Made it all the worse. Made it all the worse. Be careful, Miss Chick. Say hey to the babies. But child, y'all, yeah. Trump, please get this together. This whole no child left behind and all of this foolishness is not it. This ain't it. This is not it. And I'm just saying, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to leave it there. You parents, namely you mothers, should be ashamed. Y'all out here living off the government, ain't working nowhere, and you still can't produce, you know what I'm saying, superior citizens. Because yeah, if you don't work, your bills is taken care of, your food is taken care of, your like everything you need to raise superior humans is taken care of, and you still can't do it, you ain't shit. I'm sorry. Point blank, period. You have no reason. You have no reason not to. You choose not to. Because it's just funny that, you know what I'm saying, women in the same situation that, you know what I'm saying, don't have to worry about anything. And sometimes they have less than what y'all have because, you know what I'm saying, their stuff is actually based on somebody going to work. They can do it and you can't. That means you ain't shit. So we need to stop sugarcoating. Stop sugarcoating and making excuses and all this and all that. This shit been going on 4 generations. Black people weren't always caught up in we're not even gonna call it. We put the racism to the side. You see, a lot of stuff that's prejudice y'all like to call racism, and racism is a factor, but racism is like a 10% factor. You not being shit because you wasn't raised worth a damn is usually like 60% of the problem. So you got 10% racism, 60%, you know what I'm saying? Then nobody put nothing into you. That's 70% right there. Then you add on another 10%, okay, life circumstances, you at 80, and then the other 20 is you just ain't trying to get no better. The 100%. It's real simple. It's real simple. And I'm just too many damn I'm just saying in the crash out videos that I've been watching about y'all and these food stamps, we might have to get to that too. Cause y'all, when I tell you I've been here entertained, these bitches is having whole meltdowns. And I've been noticing, and a couple times I've been to the store, yeah, I've been able to get what I need. Cause yeah. Y'all ain't in there roaming around. You can find some stuff now. But I mean, I hate the kids got to suffer, but again, you should care about your children enough to get up and get your life right. Because all you're going to do now is going to be another generation. So we're going to have to weed out another 3 generations of adults that ain't shit before we get to some people that's worth something. That what y'all telling me? Sounds like that's what's going on. Yo, Eric, I'm saying, I saw one on TikTok. This chick was in a Quick Trip, and you know about Quick Trip, Eric. I ain't even got to tell you. She went and got her a slice of pizza, right? She, you know what I'm saying? She walking up to the checkout counter. She eating, she chomping. I mean, oh, it's so good. This, that, woo, woo, woo. She hit that card, woo. Ain't nothing happened. Lady was like, try it again. She, woo, hit it. Then nothing happened. Hit it one more time, woo. She was like, yeah, this coming back, not valid for purchase. This helper ate half the piece, and she feel like because the EBT didn't cover it, she don't have to pay. They was like, no, man, we want our money. She in there cutting a whole food, talking about why EBT don't want to pay. Y'all buy TV, y'all buy 4 and 5 TVs every tax season. Why the hell y'all didn't know that they was turning that off? Or what you thought it was gonna be everybody but you? Y'all do. Y'all buy 4 and 5 TVs every tax season. Nowhere in your TikTok scrolling and your Instagram, and did you see RFK tell y'all he was cutting that shit off? Speaking of RFK, he about to testify in front of the Senate on Thursday. We're gonna be on it. He said he got some more shit for y'all coming. Quick Trip is the truth. They done got hip to that. Y'all not gonna be coming up in there and sticking y'all hands all in their food and all that kind of stuff. At least the one that's around the corner from me. The kitchen is fierce. The kitchen is about the biggest part of the whole store. Yeah, nah. You want anything to eat from them, you gonna order it at that counter. RFK. Hold up, let me find what he's supposed to testify about. Hold up. So I supposed to be some testimony going on later on this evening, but we're gonna see. But I'm gonna need Congress and all of them to get their life together. Cause they need to get a budget together. I don't have time for no shutdowns. We ain't got time for all that. Yo, listen, Eric, that pineapple, man, I'm trying to act right because I promised somebody I was gonna be easy on the sugar. And the only sugar-free one they have right now is the watermelon. And it really ain't that good. Like if I get it and actually put some watermelon in it, it's better. But okay, yeah, he is RFK Jr. is going to testify. Hold on Thursday before the Senate Finance Committee. We'll talk about this money. Yeah. Hey, Death Reaper. Yeah, y'all definitely hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not. So yeah, he is going to be testifying from the Finance Committee on Thursday. We will be in the house to see what's going on. Also, there's supposed to be he has some more information in regards to autism. That's supposed to be coming out at some point this month. Wait, hold on, y'all. This damn Pritzker on. Look at this. Look at this nonsense. Hold up, y'all. This bitch. You can't read too good his damn self. How you like that?
That has already begun started yesterday and continues into today. Second, unidentifiable agents in unmarked vehicles with masks are planning to raid Latino communities and say they're targeting violent criminals. As we saw in Los Angeles, a very, very small
He go line.
of the
We got
individuals
cornball
they will
Hunt's
target
ass Johnson in the back. Let me be cool.
Instead, you're likely to see videos of them hauling away mothers and fathers, traveling to work or picking up their kids from school. Sometimes they will detain, handcuff, and haul away children. They are law-abiding individuals who pay taxes and contribute to the communities who feel safe going to work and attending mandatory immigration check-ins. In other words, they're following the law. We have reason to believe that Stephen Miller chose the month of September to come to Chicago because of celebrations around Mexican Independence Day that happen here every year. It breaks my heart to report that we have been told ICE will try and disrupt community picnics and peaceful parades. Let's be clear, the terror and cruelty is the point, not the safety of anyone living here. Third, as lawful citizens exercise their First Amendment rights, Trump and his team will be looking for any excuse to put active duty military on our streets, supposedly to protect ICE. We have reason to believe that the Trump administration has already begun staging the Texas National Guard for deployment in Illinois. I want to be very clear on this point, and I want to speak directly to the press right now. We know before anything has happened here that the Trump plan is to use any excuse to deploy armed military personnel.
Not true.
To Chicago. If someone flings a sandwich at an ICE agent, Trump will try and go on TV and...
Why are you flinging sandwiches at ICE agents?
I'm imploring everyone, if and when that happens, do not take the bait. Lastly, after about 30 days or so, we believe that they will pick up all of those resources that they send here to Chicago and send them to the next city in a blue state, ignoring cities in red states with higher violent crime rates than we have. None of this is about fighting crime or making Chicago...
It's absolutely about fighting crime.
For Trump, it's about testing his power and producing a political drama to cover up for his corruption. If you need any proof of this, that it's all a big show, well, look at who they're putting in charge. Gregory Bovino, a guy who desperately wants to be a reality TV star. He led the cruel adventures of ICE in Los Angeles, and he's been sent here to do the very same thing. Go look at his social media. He terrorizes innocent people and then posts on TikTok, edits.
Trump's out of order.
Apparently, this is a Trump administration norm, because the last time we saw staged major ICE raids in Chicago, they sent Dr. Phil here to embed with the agents so he could get views and likes for his social media.
Dr. Phil don't need no views and likes.
These stunts
He's
in
been on
LA,
too long.
people got hurt. 2 innocent people died trying to flee his masked agents. ICE opened fire on a vehicle without dangerous provocation. They detained a disabled 15-year-old, drew their guns on him. They have ripped mothers away from their babies and handcuffed 10-year-olds. In Washington, they pulled over firefighters headed to fight an actual wildfire and detained 2 of the firefighters on duty in that effort. And they want to bring all of that to Chicago.
How's that any worse than what's already going
US
on?
Customs and Border Patrol's own data indicated that their officers had no prior knowledge of criminal or immigration history for 77 of the 78 people arrested. Again, this is not about crime. More and more reports around these raids include people who were stopped or detained because of how they look and not because of any threat to the public. If any of this was about dealing with the complexities of a broken
So why somebody in
immigration
the chat
system,
talking about bring back
then Trump
segregation?
would have had the Congress Trump Republicans control write and pass a comprehensive immigration bill. Not only has that not happened, there is no talk of any such effort.
Because y'all know I am flying.
I know how Donald Trump thinks because I've been governor during both of his terms. He has surrounded himself with groveling yes men who are too weak to restrain his most violent and unhinged impulses, or who share those impulses.
Did he say deranged, violent, and
As a governor
unhinged?
who cares about the well-being of my people, I can't live in a fantasy land where I pretend Trump is not tearing this country apart for personal greed and power. I have to deal in facts, and here they are. Crime is down in Chicago. Murders are down by almost 50%.
No, they not, sir.
Shootings are down 57%.
No, they not.
Robberies down 34%.
No, they not.
Burglaries down 21%. Motor vehicle thefts down 26%.
Giant
One
people,
violent
y'all.
crime is too many. And we have more work to do. But we have made important progress on safety that Trump is now jeopardizing. Just during
How is Trump jeopardized that? Everybody gonna be off the street.
Chicago, from Bronzeville to South Shore to Chatham to Little Village. The president's absurd.
H-Mob, they got problems over there.
Happening on the ground here. He has no.
They got
idea
problems over there too.
There is no emergency that warrants deployment of troops. He is insulting the people of Chicago by calling our home a hellhole. And anyone
You said that about Baltimore too. Don't feel bad. And DC.
Insulting Chicagoans too.
Don't feel bad.
Crime is a reality that we all take seriously, me especially. I've held the hands of grieving mothers.
Sir, you ain't gotta have this kind of crime.
Kids to gun violence. I've been in consistent contact with law enforcement and
Y'all gonna stop because you do not have to have this level of crime.
That has informed our comprehensive evidence-based approach to crime, hiring more police officers and giving them more funding, gun and drug and gang.
Okay, well, from what I hear, nobody's applying for the job, sorry.
Community violence intervention, mental health supports, more substance use treatment. Those programs have shown real progress. Then you know what happened? Donald Trump and his Republican allies in Congress cut. You seem to know nothing about fighting crime. We are ready to fight troop deployments in court, and we will do everything possible to ensure that agents operating inside the confines of this state
You just kind of here,
legal and
Child, your feds doing all they can to get on the list.
to Chicago.
Doing all they can.
What you can do is look out for your communities and your neighbors. Know your rights. Film things that you see happening in your neighborhoods and your streets and share them with the news media.
Snitch. Okay.
Authoritarians thrive on your silence. Be loud for America. To everyone listening, but most especially to the press, I refuse to pretend that any of this is normal. I refuse to concede that the abject cruelty that we're seeing play out with the execution of Trump and Stephen Miller's policies are okay or justified. I refuse to fall into the pundit trap that demands we sacrifice vital constitutional rights if it's being done in the fake guise of fighting crime. Because, as I said 6 months ago in my State of the State address, any rational person who has spent even the most minimal amount of time studying human history has to ask themselves on one important question. Once they get the citizens of this nation comfortable with the current atrocities committed under the color of law, what comes next? Now I'd like to turn the podium over to the mayor of the city.
Oh, hell, we going from bad to worse.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, President Preckwinkle, Lieutenant Governor Stratton for being here, and our Attorney General Raul, to the members of the press. Today we stand here united as the state of Illinois, Cook County and the city of Chicago to send a very clear message. We do not want military occupation in our city. We do not want or need militarized
We
immigration.
don't care about what you want. What you want. It's exactly what you need
They
now.
have been clear on that. And we will continue to take every single measure that we can to protect our people from these threats. However, I also want to be clear about this.
This
There
don't
are
make sense
measures
to
that
me.
the federal
I'm sorry.
government can take right now to help continue to drive down violence and crime in our city. We need the federal government to stop the endless flow of guns into our state and into our city.
Them criminals you want to pay, you spend $1 billion on the ones bringing them up in there. So what we talking about?
Illegal guns off the streets of Chicago since I've taken office. Over 24,000 illegal guns taken off the streets of Chicago since I've been in office. They have worked hard every single day to make our city safer. And they've made historic progress. However, we will never be able to end gun violence in Chicago as long as the president continues to allow tens of thousands of guns to be trafficked into our state and our city. The vast majority of guns do not come from Chicago. They are not made in Cook County. They are not bought in the state of Illinois. These guns come from red states. They are coming from Indiana. They are coming from Mississippi.
Dude, this is pathetic.
They are coming from Louisiana. That is the harsh
Now
reality.
this is pathetic.
Whether Republicans like it or not. Occupying our city will do nothing to solve this problem. No matter how much work we do or how hard we work, whether it's expanding our Detectives Bureau, investing in community violence intervention, and addressing the root causes of crime, none of it will ever be enough until the president decides to end the mass trafficking of guns in our city. For every gun that the Chicago Police Department fights to get off the streets, 2 or 3 more new guns come into our city. Chicago will continue to have a violence problem as long as red states
I'm not doing this. This is
continue to
bad.
have a gun problem. Shootings will continue as long as this presidential administration continues to put politics over people. We have sued Glock over their semi-automatic guns that are easily
Why are you
converted
suing the
into
manufacturer?
automatic weapons with switches. We have taken down gun stores in Indiana that illegally sell thousands of guns to traffickers who move them into Chicago.
Because people in Chicago know how to
Whenever
modify
we
them
shut
guns.
down, whenever we do this, another one pops up. The governor has worked extremely hard to strengthen our gun control laws across our state. And as much as we would like to, we cannot send officers across state lines to stop this problem at the source. We only have jurisdiction over our own city. The governor only has jurisdiction over our state lines. It is the role, more importantly, the responsibility of the federal government and the president to stop the trafficking of weapons across state lines. For every shooting in Chicago, there is a gun trafficker in Mississippi making money. There is a gun trafficker in Louisiana profiting off of our pain. This is a serious problem that has gone on for far too long, and it requires serious solutions. We wrote a letter to President Biden after a mass shooting in Chicago 2 years ago, asking for more resources to stop gun violence.
Okay, did he give them to
by
you?
deploying
So
federal
if you
agents
asked
to
Biden
hold these gun
and Trump didn't give it to you, what we doing?
President Biden responded with more resources and stronger enforcement.
So why y'all
And
still
that
out here
alone
cutting
has a
up?
significant impact on gun violence in our city. We need President Trump to do the same. Instead of using militarized ICE agents to terrify our communities here in Chicago, instead of sending in Border Patrol to our city to detain mothers and fathers who have called Chicago their home for decades, working class people who pay their taxes and make our communities strong. They should direct those resources to taking down gun traffickers so that we can finally put a stop to the violence. If the Chicago Police Department had a fighting chance, we could end gun violence in Chicago. But as long as this president allows hundreds of thousands of guns to come into our city, we will always be fighting.
Why the hell is he
an
allowing
uphill
guns to come into that? We're gonna stop
So
this.
our call to the president and to his fellow Republicans who want to weaponize the tragedy of gun violence. The
Child, it's too
Republicans
much.
who want to use the pain of families who have lost loved ones to shootings and who want to use our city as a punching bag. Our response is that they should get their own house in order before they say anything about the city of Chicago. We have done tremendous work with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF in Chicago. On August 4th, ATF worked with the Chicago Police Department to take 171 guns off the streets in just one action. They
This
took
my thing right
64
here.
machine gun switches. These are devices that turn guns into automatic weapons.
Because
And
could
they are
y'all in
all-
Chicago
almost
know how
always
to do
found
that,
on the
sir?
scene of mass shootings in our
Quit
city.
playing. Y'all know how to convert them
These
guns.
are linked to shootings
and
and
use them.
homicides in Chicago, going all the way back to 2017, including the killing of a
We saying the
14-year-old.
Indiana problem.
So my question
It's
is,
a Chicago problem.
why did Trump cut $468 million from ATF's budget in his nasty signature bill? Why did he cut funding for the agency responsible for getting guns off our streets?
Because the
by
guns
almost
wasn't getting off the street.
30%. Why did he cut
This makes my head hurt.
1,465 positions from an agency?
And the
that is
guns
so
wasn't getting
critical
off the
to
street,
reducing
sir.
gun violence? They cut funding from the agency that is actually stopping gun traffickers so they could increase funding for ICE and Border Patrol. I'm going to repeat that again so that it sinks in. Trump gutted the agency that actually catches gun traffickers just so that he could hand money to ICE and Border Patrol. This president doesn't care about gun violence. He just wants his own secret police force that will do publicity stunts.
It
whenever
sound
his
like
crime
little
numbers
kids
are
trying to keep from getting in trouble.
whenever his jobs report shows a stagnating economy, whenever he needs another distraction from his failure. That's what this is about. The Trump administration continues to try to use the real pain and loss of gun violence victims as a pretext for expanding his own power. Unfortunately, even some elected officials in our city and state have parroted these lies. Here's the truth. Donald Trump is the last person in America who cares about families on the south and west side of Chicago. Those who are dealing with violence on a regular basis. He's the last person. The thought doesn't even cross his mind. If he did, he wouldn't have cut $800 million from violence
Now,
prevention
goodbye.
organizations. These are funds that would have gone towards organizations on the south and west side who are on the front lines driving down gun violence. He wouldn't have cut $468 million from ATF. He wouldn't be sending ICE and Border Patrols to Chicago. He would be sending ATF agents to Mississippi. He would be sending these agents to Indiana. He's worried about the wrong border. We don't have an immigration crisis in Chicago. We have a gun crisis, and the president could care less about the real solution. Closing. Violence in Chicago is not because we have too many immigrants. It's because we have too many guns. So our message to Trump continues to be the same. Stop posting truth socials. Stop making.
He ain't even been posting on True Social. I got True Social. It's been real quiet over there.
Stop defunding our communities. Just
Stop
do your
lying,
job
Brandon.
And end the trafficking of guns into our
To my scar. Oh shit.
over Cook County Board.
Damn.
County.
Oh, he do kind of look like Scar, don't he? Done spent damn $30,000. Child, still gonna stand up to my child. Who this? Rosa Parks sister up here.
I want to thank all of you for being here today.
Child.
Governor Pritzker, Lieutenant Governor Stratton,
Who
Mayor
is Rita
Johnson, Attorney
Rose?
General Raul, for standing in solidarity with the people of Illinois, Cook County, and Chicago. 4 years ago, leaders from the county,
This
the
Rita
state, and the
Parks.
city
Excuse me, y'all.
formed the Government Alliance for Safe Communities to collaboratively confront the gun violence crisis. This alliance works to maximize the impact of public funding build cross-sector partnerships, and support organizations working on the ground to reduce violence. Together, we've made historic investments in community safety. Over the last 3 years, Cook County alone has invested over $100 million
right here.
in community violence intervention and other evidence-backed violence prevention strategies. We will soon launch a new capacity-building network to provide training and technical assistance to strengthen organizations and maximize the impact in communities. Our government partners at the state and city level have also invested at unprecedented levels. Why do I bring this up? Because it's working.
Is it
In
now?
Cook County, we've seen a 35%
The coroner's still picking
drop
up bodies,
in gun
but it's working.
homicides
Got it.
from this time last year, and a 45% drop in gun homicides.
Ma'am, you know that's not true.
I'm going to say that again. In Cook County, we've seen a 35% drop in gun homicides from this time last year, and a 45% drop.
So getting
in gun
stabbed is better?
homicides from 2021. Our investments are working. Meanwhile, President Trump is freezing $158 million in funding for violence prevention programs in cities like Chicago. He's dismantling
Because
the
they don't
Office
work.
of Gun Violence Prevention and terminating more than $800 million in anti-violence grants nationwide. Needless to say, crime prevention is not his true agenda. The president is reducing resources that are working while undercutting local efforts. He is deploying active duty military personnel within our own borders. This is our America today. I say all this as we gather at a critical moment in our nation's history. For generations, our parents and grandparents believed that democracy was not simply an idea. It was a promise that people, not soldiers, should decide the future of our communities. That promise is now being tested. Threats from the federal administration to send ground troops to Chicago will test us. Let me be
I
clear.
know nobody want to hear all of this. You sit up here talking about the numbers have gone down and the coroner's already on overtime, but it's just not Tuesday. We ain't trying
Deploying
to
the
hear this.
National Guard from other states or sending active duty military personnel within our own borders. Their presence has not been requested by local leaders. The streets of Chicago belong to the residents of Chicago. They do not belong to federal troops. They do not belong to those who would use intimidation and violence as tools of political oppression. As the president of Cook County Board, I've spent my career working to make our institutions more fair, just, and accountable. Democracy is strongest when our people feel empowered, not threatened. If our residents see soldiers in combat gear patrolling their neighborhoods, they won't feel safer, they'll feel intimidated. Rather than troops, here's what's needed. We need the Trump administration to pass bipartisan, comprehensive immigration reform. Restore community violence intervention grants. Lower the costs of goods impacted by tariffs.
Child, them tariffs ain't got shit to do with none of that.
And SNAP that take
Y'all been over there doing this same nonsense for 20 years. It ain't got nothing to do with no
History teaches
tariffs.
us that democracy is not self-sustaining. It requires constant vigilance.
Yeah, them
requires
damn
courage.
tariffs ain't even kicked in yet.
And most importantly, it requires people willing to stand up and say, no, you will not trample our rights.
Ain't nobody trampling your rights. You do not have the right to commit
I
crime.
say this, do not be intimidated. Do not be silent. Voice your courage and your
You
peaceful.
do not have the right
Say
to
that
commit
again,
crime
peaceful
in Chicago.
participation. Stand tall, speak up, and remember that no troops, no weapons, no show of force is stronger than united communities that refuse to yield our rights. Chicago will not succumb to threats, and Cook County will not be silenced.
Okay.
I'd like to welcome to the
Tariff,
podium
nothing, Dr. X.
Attorney
Tariffs
General
ain't got
Mr.
nothing to
Roy
do
Pomerol.
with what's going with this crime. Nothing, child. Ain't come another one.
President, Governor, Mayor, and Lieutenant Governor.
This is pathetic.
I like to repeat something the governor said. We cannot, and not anybody in this room can be dumbed down to believing that any of this is normal.
Child, y'all done. Y'all can't dumb down no more. Ain't nowhere else to go.
And he
Y'all
alone
know what y'all can get.
can deal with crime in American cities. And his preferred tool in doing so is the American military. The problem with this approach is that it's both bad strategy and illegal.
So that ain't bad strategy at all, child.
I won't
Ain't no
deny
bad strategy in this.
on any day that we do have a serious crime problem in Chicago, as do American cities throughout the nation, in red states and in blue states.
Notice how red states ain't have these problems.
Recent mass shootings and reports of other crime are horrific. While Chicago's crime problem is serious, it is far from the worst in the country. President Trump's approach of using the military is bad strategy.
Sir, it's not bad strategy. The military don't move without strategy. What are you talking about?
Furthermore,
they don't take a piss without strategy.
Of the National Guard as a crime-fighting force is simply not sustainable.
It absolutely is. They ain't really doing nothing else.
Further bad strategy because there has been no effort by the president to collaborate with local.
Bullshit. We just watched the man say y'all ain't calling. Well, he ain't got to call y'all. Y'all supposed to call him. He's president.
Approach is critical.
Y'all lies.
Since the outset of my tenure as Attorney General, I and other local law enforcement partners have worked closely with federal law enforcement partners, including the FBI, DEA, ATF, Secret Service, and others, to investigate and prosecute criminal activity in Illinois.
No, it ain't. How long we been watching Kim Fox do nothing?
Approach to fighting crime, utilizing combined intelligence, experienced, well-trained agents and officers, and state-of-the-art technology has yielded great results. It, combined with the investment in community violence interruption and providing for victims of crime, has led to a
y'all better hurry up. Y'all got about 20 more minutes, please.
If President Trump wanted to contribute to fighting crime in Chicago, he would steer more resources to these federal agencies that are collaborating with local law enforcement instead of dramatically.
We're not paying y'all no more money to do nothing.
President Trump
We've been waiting on y'all to collaborate and get this shit straight for 2 decades. Ain't no more money.
Community violence interruption efforts. If President Trump were serious about fighting crime, I would not have to have sued him 2 weeks ago, sued the Department of Justice 2 weeks ago for threatening to deprive resources for victims of crime based on unrelated immigration criteria. If President Trump were serious about fighting crime, he would not enter into collusive settlement to put machine gun
China, but we don't want to hear it. We don't even want to hear it.
Back out onto the street, devices back onto the streets. President Trump's plan is not only bad strategy, but it is.
So you have said that 6 times.
The militia clauses of the United States Constitution give Congress sole authority to decide the circumstances that allow the president to federalize the National Guard. The 10th Amendment preserves state sovereignty to enforce state laws as they see fit. As recognized by Judge Charles Breyer today in California, the Posse Comitatus Act limits the federal government's ability to use the military for domestic law enforcement. Although the president does have limited, and I repeat, limited authority to deploy the National Guard to help federal law enforcement in specific circumstances, none of these circumstances exist in Chicago. we are not being invaded by a foreign nation. There is no rebellion against the federal government as there was on January 6th. There does not exist an inability to enforce federal law in Chicago. Federal courts are
What this
open.
got to do with January 6th?
Federal criminal cases are being prosecuted and investigated every day. And as I mentioned, federal criminal investigations in collaboration with local law enforcement are taking place on a daily basis. The president has failed to establish that any of these prerequisites required by Congress through the Posse Comitatus Act exists. Let's be clear.
Really?
The president's plan is not about fighting crime. It's purely performative. He wants to demonstrate a show of military force towards American citizens as we would only see in authoritarian countries like China, North Korea, or Russia. He is hoping to sow chaos by inciting out-of-control protests. Chicago, we have demonstrated that we can protest peacefully. It is imperative that we do not take the bait. Exercise your First Amendment rights, but do so
Hey, y'all go out there
without
fucking
violence,
get your head cracked up if y'all want to. Listen, I would advise
visit my website,
y'all to act like y'all got some sense.
attorneygeneral.gov, and review free guidance before you participate in protests.
Y'all might get y'all ass put.
This administration frequently disregards our Constitution and federal law. In fact, the president has even questioned whether he has to comply with our Constitution. But we are here to say that no president can flout the Constitution, not here in Illinois. In Illinois, we care about the rule of law, and we intend to preserve it. As Governor Pritzker already said, there is no emergency in Chicago.
Lies, honey.
I've been in touch with the governor's office and the City of Chicago Corporation Council, and we will not hesitate to take action to protect our residents if this administration breaks the law.
Y'all be killing you. Just take action. What are you gonna do?
With that, I'd like to pass the mic to our Lieutenant Governor.
Y'all heard it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Juliana Stratton, and I'm so proud to serve as Illinois' Lieutenant Governor at this moment in history. Thank you to Governor Pritzker, Mayor Johnson, President Preckwinkle, and Attorney General Raoul, and everyone standing here together preparing to defend our people. I've dedicated my entire career to creating safer communities across our state. As Lieutenant Governor, I lead councils and initiatives focused on addressing the root causes of violence and delivering peace. I've had countless conversations with people who have been impacted by crime, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt that no one, absolutely no one, has ever asked to militarize our city. This performance by Donald Trump and the puppets in his administration has nothing to do with eliminating crime. This con is about power, control, and fear. Trump is weaponizing federal agents against vulnerable communities in an effort to scare us all.
I'm confused.
When we see our neighbors snatched from the sidewalk and peaceful residents thrown into unmarked vans.
Because you have not seen that, man. Where have you seen that?
And it should.
Where have you seen that?
On the heartbreak any decent person would feel watching this abuse so that he can manipulate tensions and further his power grab by sending actual
What power was he grabbing? Y'all didn't vote for him.
The Pritzker-Stratton administration has been working closely with community and advocacy organizations to prepare resources ahead of this invasion. And while we can't take the fear of this moment away, we can help equip you to face whatever comes next. If you or someone you love aren't sure what resources
I'm not doing
exist
this.
for
This
immigrants
too
in our
much
state,
foolishness.
I want you to go to IllinoisImmigrationInfo.org.
You should not be doing
Let me
your
repeat
status
that.
shaky. You don't be going on nothing.
IllinoisImmigrationInfo.org. On the front page, there's a red button that says Learn Your Rights. That takes you to a complete Know Your Rights toolkit where you can access specific guidance for different scenarios. Also on that front page is a red button that says Get Legal Help. If you or someone you know needs an immigration lawyer, this page has resources for finding representation. IllinoisImmigrationInfo.org also offers a family emergency plan template so you and your family
Template. Is the money involved in the template?
before anything happens. And if you do end up facing an immigration emergency, call the Family Support Network hotline at 1-855-435-7693. There are translation services available and people ready to help. Our goal is not to scare anyone, but to prepare everyone to face some ugly realities in the coming days. Many Illinoisans who look a certain way are going to spend this time living in deep fear. That will mean skipping celebrations, avoiding certain places, and keeping in constant contact with your loved ones. The best thing
I ain't got to do all this.
those
We
at
all
risk can
born
do
here.
in this
We
moment
ain't got to go through nothing.
is to prioritize your health, mental wellness,
Our great
and
granddaddy had
safety
papers.
above all
We're not
else.
doing this.
To those who have the privilege of never knowing what it feels like to question your safety because of how you look, this is your moment.
I don't have any problems.
to
I
step
just don't
up
have any trouble.
and step in. Raise your voices on behalf of those.
Not Shirley
who
Ralph
cannot.
Mama. Wow.
Chicago has a long history of peaceful protest. We're no strangers to calling out corruption and speaking up when our rights are on the line. We've shown that peace
Since when?
begets progress, and it's time to do it again. This version of America is not safe for anyone's American dream.
Exactly,
But it
Kimberly.
can be
If
if
you
we
here legally,
take
you
each
good.
other's
Ain't nothing to worry
hands
about.
and push back against this hate with every fiber of our being.
Make sure you hit subscribe button if
Despite
you have
the
not, and the
gaping
like
lack
button
of
as well.
humanity in Trump's soul, we know who America really is. A place where our ancestors triumphed over evils even greater than those we face today. A place where goodness exists alongside complexity. A place where goodness is real and powerful and worth fighting for. We are with you, Chicago and Illinois. Our only way forward is together. And so, together, we will march. With that, I will ask Governor Pritzker to come back to answer questions from the media.
Nah, we ain't gonna do it. Listen, y'all, I can't do it. We gonna go through this. We gonna pick this apart. I don't even want to hear no more. I don't hear no more. We gonna pick this thing apart. We gonna start from the beginning because we didn't, and we gonna go through this whole thing. But right now they're giving me a damn headache. We'll probably hit that off in the morning. Yeah, because I gotta see what else gonna go on. Yeah, we'll more than likely do that in the morning. We gonna start this presser from the beginning, and we're gonna run it all the way through because this right here is ridiculous. Like, we got frick, frat, putz 1, putz 2, and a whole bunch of damn nonsense. But anyway, we started out with the president talking about some I'm black and I don't believe her, so I'm gonna go ahead with that. But now keep in mind, you got black people and you got niggas. I'm black. Black people have common sense and can pay attention and you know what I'm saying, think about what's happening before they, you know what I'm saying, pick a side. Niggas is emotional and just, you know what I'm saying, ride along with this nonsense. So the niggas is gonna be the ones out here in the streets fighting with the with the illegals for them to stay. That's who's gonna be out there for that. So yeah, it's a difference. So yeah, we gon' let y'all go ahead and continue on with that foolishness. Hold up, y'all. What's this? Congressional committee meets to discuss the handling of the Epstein case. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and peep at this and see if this is worth us looking at later on. Because let's be honest, it is not Trump who is holding up the files being released. It's the Dems. Every judge who has voted no has been a Democratic judge. So I don't want to hear no more about, you know what I'm saying, Trump keeping the files under wraps. So let's be clear on that. Again, hit the like button if you have not. Hit the subscribe button if you have not. If you have taken care of both of those, make sure you have your notifications on. Because again, we will be back. We will be having a dual panel on this crime in Chicago situation. We also gonna talk about the disbanding of the Department of Education and why I personally feel like that's a good idea, and they need to hurry up. And I'll let y'all know what happens with this congressional hearing about this Epstein situation. So again, I appreciate all of y'all for coming by. I will see y'all later on. Y'all have a good evening. And again, I appreciate y'all for coming through. Yeah, child. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Old niggas is the worst niggas, Kim. Old niggas is, I just saw that. Old niggas is the worst. Listen, they don't want me in Chicago because first thing I'm going to do is come in there and tell the truth. So all the niggas is going to be mad at me because I'm going to be like, I'm not going to fight for y'all to keep Section 8. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, going to go fight for your thug ass kids who, you know what I'm saying, done shot 15 people over the last 2 days to get out of damn jail on the strength of they say they're going to be back for trial. We ain't doing that. I want everything you got. Everything. We talking full bond. If the bail is $50,000, I want 50,000 cash dollars in my hand. This whole situation y'all got in Chicago of both people just because they got some dark skin because you think they black, that ain't working. That ain't working. That got y'all in $1 billion worth of debt, and the federal government is not going to bail y'all out. Trump ain't bailing out no $1 billion worth of debt. For foolishness. Y'all niggas is gonna be paying till you take your last breath to pay off this $1 billion, and y'all didn't get a damn thing for it. Nothing. But Jose and them gonna be somewhere kicking it. Because they got your job, your apartment, your tax money, all while they ain't paying no taxes, they living it up. They know how to come together and commune. Niggas don't know how to do that. That's why you can see Mexicans take over a neighborhood lickety damn split because they're coming in, they're gonna buy the first house. It's 4 families in the house. That damn house be paid off in 3 years. They turn around and do it again. That house be paid off for 3 years. And then you look up the whole street, then the next street, then the street after that. Then it took up the whole damn neighborhood. Meanwhile, you niggas is crying, ooh, why it can't be us? Why we ain't get nothing? Hell, they went to work. While you was sitting around talking about, you know what I'm saying, it ain't my son's fault, you know what I'm saying, he grew up in the hood, he ain't have no choice but to be out here, you know what I'm saying, hitting people in the head with this gun. Nah. I went on my daily walk this morning, teenager, he's out there changing tires, cutting grass, whole bunch of shit I don't see little black kids doing. He was like, I'm about to change this tire because when I'm ready to go, I ain't got time, you know what I'm saying, for daddy to be sitting up here talking about some hold on and all this. He was like, no, when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. He changed the damn tires. And when I say changed it, I don't mean he took the flat off and put the spare on. I mean, he changed them damn tires. He mounted and bounced them bitches and put 4 new ones on the damn car. You know, like you change your socks, he changed them damn tires. Because he was like, I'm gonna be ready to go when it's time to go. You got grown ass black men out here don't know how to change no tire. This them balanced and mounted a whole set and put them on the car. Anytime it took me to go through my 3-mile walk, which is about an hour and 10 minutes. I just, take the same path 3 times. So 3 times around is a little more than 3 miles. And by the time I hit that last one, he was done. They know how to work. They're resourceful. We be sitting around bullshitting and playing. Shit that we would have paid somebody $400 to do, that teenage boy did for free. For himself. He's like, I'm ready to go. So this is why we can't get nowhere. But instead of, going over there and trying to see how they moving and how we can get on, we just, sit around and complain. And we shouldn't have to. Why? You wasn't a slave no way. You 3 damn generations removed from slavery. Shit. Your damn great-granddaddy bought the damn land he was fucking sharecropping on. He bought the damn land his parents was picking cotton on as slaves. The hell y'all doing now? You ain't got nothing to be complaining about. You right. They know this. They don't give a damn. Yeah. You right. They don't give a damn. They don't. So when they come over here crying at me, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear nothing. What you gonna do? I don't know. It's like they arguing over here on this Epstein case, though. I'm gonna have to see what's popping. Yeah, but ain't nobody got time. So again, this whole he coming, you'll say to militarize. Nah, they just gonna have some order in the streets. So if you ain't out there cutting the fuck up, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You ain't got nothing to worry about. When I go out, I know I'm not going out to act a fool and commit crime, so don't nobody bother me. I don't have problems when I go out. So maybe y'all should try the same thing, and then you won't have no problems. But when you go, what old people say, when you go look for trouble, you're gonna find it. So y'all do what you do. Do what it is you do. So with that being said, I'm leaving for real this time, y'all, because it's 5 o'clock. Like I said, I'm gonna take a look and see what's going on with this Epstein, see if this is anything worth us looking at. We are going to go in the morning, go over this full press conference and then see what the fallout is gonna be. Maybe by then we'll have a timeline for when the president is gonna go ahead and send them troops, because he already said they're coming. And Baltimore, y'all next on the list, and Philly probably after that. So this is about to be a regular thing. So again, if you don't want Trump sending nobody over to fuck around in your business, go ahead and clean your situation up. That's all you got to do. Clean your situation up and ain't nobody coming. It's real simple. And with that, I appreciate y'all. I will see y'all later. Bye.